All right. Okay. Okay. We're online. We're online. We're finally online. All right. Let's get started. Oh, there's an update. The fact that we're in Act 2. That's amazing. So this keeps updating. That keeps updating. That's nice. Anyway, welcome back to my stream, and we're gonna be continuing Lily's route. Let me double check if everything's all right. All right, everything is all right. Everything is all right. Scene: unidentified drinking object. All right. All right, let's get started. Wait, my mouse. Let me turn off the fan. Okay. Okay. All right. I walked down the hall of the girls' dormitories, my school bag in hand. A doll lies inside, carefully placed on top of a small bag. I've been carrying the box in there for a while now. Still not sure what to do with it. The whole situation, contenting of it, is bizarre. Wow. I've known of Hanako's upcoming birthday party for a while now. I had no idea exactly what the celebrations would be until I found a single note left in the abandoned tea room earlier today. I hold it up and read it again, double checking the instructions. The plain black handwriting's fairly legible despite Lily's blindness. Clearly, thanks to considerable effort and care. Wow. Actually, I have no idea how a blind person learns how to write. I actually don't know. I mean, they will still have to communicate in some form, right? I have to learn up. I want to read up on that, but let's continue. Hisao, we'll be holding a party at my place. Please come at 6 o'clock to room 225 in the girls' dormitory. Sorry for notifying you this way, but I have class representative duties. Lily Sato. I I actually don't get how this works if, supposedly like actually there's like a separation of boys and girls dormitories, right? But I thought the usual rule was that probably if there was someone from the opposite sex, they're only allowed up until the like a common area, but not like go to the rooms unless it's like moving or moving out kind of thing. But I actually don't know how this works. But I was always a commuter. Anyway, not reassured, I continue walking down the hallway until I reach Lily's dormitory room. I hesitate for a second, but eventually get 3 sharp taps on the door. A brief and muffled exchange of words can be heard from the other side. Listening closer. I can just pick out Hanako and Lily's voices. As they finish, Lily calls out, "Might that be Hisao?" "Yeah. I got the note you left for me. You can come in. The door is unlocked." Glad that I managed to get the right room, I press down on the handle and let myself in. As the door swings open, my greeting to them is stolen from my mouth. Oh, they're in pajamas. PJs. Lily sits at the low table in the center of the room in her pajamas, while on the other side sits Hanako in a nightgown. Being dressed in only my normal school clothes, I feel quite out of place. I steal a quick glance at the lovely side of the two, my eyes staring themselves from Lily's long, thin, and pale legs, only with a measure of reluctance. "Hi. think I bought everything that was everything that was needed. She smiles and nods. I wonder if she's even aware of the pleasant sight she makes. The thin, dark blue silk of her pajamas really suits her, accenting both her eyes and her curves. The look of her last night, the tentative and almost shy demeanor, seems all but replaced by her coy nature. It's nice to see her confidence return, though I can't help casting my mind back to how she looked back then. I look to Hanako, who nervously sits opposite to her in her gown. It isn't a surprise that she'd wear something so conservative, though it definitely looks cute. Hi, Hanako. Happy birthday. Thank you. She's unusually skittish, despite the fact she's warmed up to me considerably over the weeks we come to know each other. This is a pretty unusual situation, I guess. Feel free to take a seat, Hisao. I'll just pour you two some tea. Sure thing. Once again, for some reason, I remember the fucking Tsukihime beds for some reason. I don't know why. Really. The OG one, not the remake. Of course, not the remake. Lily takes the steaming red teapot from the side of the table and gently pours its contents into our teacups as I take a seat beside them, setting my bag against the nearby wall. When my senses return and hormones somewhat calmer, I realize that this is the first time I've ever been in Lily's room. The first thing I notice is the ambient smell, just slightly different from that in mine. Probably faint perfume or nail polish. It could be anything of a girl's, really. Another is the plain nature of the room, visually. Beige walls, a smart yet unadorned cabinet, the lack of posters or wall hangings. It's distinctly utilitarian, something I should have anticipated given her blindness. The only thing that really seems out of the ordinary is the several piles of books sitting on the floor, each reaching from roughly knee height to waist height. Some of them have printed titles, others are entirely blank except for the dots of braille. The fact that the ones with the printed titles are uniformly in English is interesting, though not completely unexpected. She did mention her parents impressing the language upon her and Akira, after all. Your room looks nice, Lily. I hear a call of thanks from beside my shoulder. Looking back to Hanako, her gaze is fixed on her lap, and her hands are nervously clutching her gown. It's now that I notice why. With these clothes on, the extent of her scarring is far more visible, reaching down her neck and out to cover her right shoulder. Considering this is a party for her, she doesn't really look like she's enjoying the experience now that I'm here. So how old are you turning? 18? Her look of surprise, not at all helped by her total lack of skill at hiding her feelings, showed that she was trying to mentally tune me out. This is really quite awkward. Yes. By the way, is it convenient that they're 18? I don't know, man. Let me not think about this too much. On the plus side, there's only 2 more years till you can drink. So who's older? You or Lily? 20? Is the drinking age 20? In Japan? What? The fuck? I didn't know. Really? I actually don't know. Lily. She had their birthday in February. What about yours? Earlier this year, so it's already passed. Unstated is that it passed while I was stuck in the hospital. That was a particularly low point of the experience. Conversation with her dries up as quickly as expected. It isn't long before Lily's finished preparing our drinks. Setting down the three teacups in front of us, I picked mine up, immediately noticing a much stronger aroma and taste than tea we've been having. Huh. It tastes different than the tea we have in school. It's a different variety. Rather, the kind we've been having here. You never tasted orange Jaipur before. Not that I can remember. I usually drink coffee after all, like when we were in town. This is nice, though. As we settle down and sip, Hanako seems to become more relaxed, or at least a bit less tense about my presence. We all finish our cups at about the same time, with Hanako failing rather badly at hiding her anticipation for the cake that's sitting to the side, begging to be eaten. But to think of it, I'm feeling very eager myself. First things first, though. Lily? Yes. Now is good. Each of us knowing exactly what the other means, I lean sideways and dig around in my bag for the doll I bought, Hanako, as Lily gets up and retrieves her gift. Hiding our gifts in our hands, we present them both on the table at the same time. Happy birthday! Hanako silently sits, looking at them for seconds on end, out of sheer surprise. My little wooden doll, replete with Victorian era dress and little hat, sits next to a light brown and fluffy stuffed bear from Lily. She clutches at her gown as she moves to speak, not taking her eyes off the modest presence. Thank you, Lily, and Hisao. Her voice begins to crack as Lily reaches forward, wrapping her in a soft embrace. The sight of Hanako holding Lily so tightly is heartwarming, so much so that I couldn't wipe the smile off my face even if I wanted to. As Lily gently rests her face on Hanako's head, she speaks so quietly and softly that I can barely hear. Happy birthday, Hanako. Happy birthday. Hanako gives a small nod, holding on to Lily for a time before breaking off and wiping an eye. I guess that for Hanako, simply having someone, anyone, to be there and love her would be special. The fact that Lily and I can now share that role for her is something I think I will always be grateful for. Oh, doll's much more cuter than I thought. That's a good drawing. Hanako gently takes the doll and teddy bear, holding them both to her chest as she warmly smiles. For a long time, all three of us simply sit in happy silence. Quiet is not broken until Lily's soft voice beckons. Shall we have at the cake then? Her proposal is met with the two looks of unhidden anticipation. No argument from me. Okay. Yeah, that was good. I contentedly sit back, but Lily and Hanako just as satisfied with the food as I. It took some effort, but we managed to finish off the cake in one go. I don't think I could fit any more in. I think next time I'll buy a smaller cake. Hanako and I give a chuckle, but I can't help noticing that coming this time next year, we'll have graduated from Yamaku. That fact is somewhat depressing, since I finally feel as if my life is starting to get back in some kind of order. Idly looking around Lily's neat and orderly room, her books catch my eye once again. This may be a little impetuous, but my curiosity gets the better of me. Besides, I don't think she'll mind in any case. Hey, Lily, do you mind if I take a look at one of your books? You're quite welcome to, Hisao. said, if you can overcome two language barriers, I will be quite impressed. Two? Braille and... Alright, English. She gives a nod. I knew you were studying English, but I'm still amazed that you're this proficient at it. One could say it's a perfect way to avoid people borrowing my collection. She says it in jest, but I am a little disappointed. Having all these books around me with no way of reading them feels like one big tease. Hanako giggles quietly as I reach over to closest pile, plucking the topmost book with only a cursory glance. Debt on the Nile, in large letters on the cover, is the only printed text to be seen. I sit down for a while, with the book open on my lap, as Lily and Hanako talk. Try as I might to feel out the dots of braille printed on each page, they seem to blend into one another and become indistinct. I thought this to be a lot easier than it actually is. With some practice though, I could see someone with a better sense of touch than mine managing to read at a pretty fast speed. Noticing the silence that had probably begun earlier, I look up for the dotted pages to see Lily smiling as Hanako sips another cup of tea. Is something wrong? Quite the opposite. Your curiosity is quite endearing. I am inordinately pleased by the praise, though I can feel my cheeks heating up a little. Thanks, but I don't know how else I could act. To be honest, I wasn't altogether sure of how you saw us, since you were a new transfer student from another school. If you pitied us, I would have been quite offended. There's a certain edge to Lily's voice, one that I quite possibly place as pride. Glancing over to Hanako, she seems even more subdued than usual, looking toward Lily rather than me. I wouldn't worry about that. Considering the position I found myself in, I'm perhaps the last person that should be dispensing pity on others. My parents' first interactions with me after my heart attack, I wouldn't want anyone to see that kind of face. I catch myself from going any further, but not so soon enough. Both of the girls seem to be put off, Lily especially. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone that far. An awkward silence reigns for a few beats, thankfully ended as Lily's head perks up in a gesture I've come to easily recognize. Hear something? The door. Everyone looks towards it, trusting in Lily's senses. True enough, the door handle shudders, and in turn, a flash of yellow and black slipping through. Akira Sato is in the house. Happy birthday, Hanako. Thank you. Akira takes a seat at the table as she plops her tall bag beside her. She has her trademark boisterous air about her, making no small deal of her entrance. Hanako clutches her gown to steady herself, but doesn't appear too shaken after she settles down. I guess she must have met Akira before. Not a huge surprise given how close Akira and Lily are. Akira doesn't seem to be the least bit put off by Hanako's scarring, despite its prominence. But she also doesn't pull any punches in how she acts despite Hanako's shy nature. I thought you said you'd have to work, Akira. Did you manage to get off for a while? Kinda. I feel bad about ditching the guys doing overtime, so I gotta get back soon. But I feel bad about not coming to your cute little Hanako's birthday too. So for now, I'm here. She grins widely at Hanako, who flowers into a full blush as she pins her eyes downward toward her lap. Her mouth seems to widen and retract over and over, as if she was trying to suppress a smile out of embarrassment. It's a little strange how her reaction seems to be more immediate and forceful than when she's embarrassed by the way she looks. All she manages to give in return is a tiny nod, failing to hide her appreciation to any great extent. Not that many people give her positive attention, I suppose. It makes me respect how well Akira can handle her, making her so happy compared to what little I could do. Now then, before I go, she reaches into the bag beside her, grandly displays its contents. Out come 2 large glass bottles, both with long French names on the labels. Hanako's expression is an odd mix of surprise and curiosity, and I suspect mine's no different. Louis, not seeing the proceedings, is oblivious to what's going on. Akira. This isn't... what is it? Wine. 1 red, 1 white. Akira! That's... Relax. It's not like Shizune is here to scold you. Lily has a point. It's not exactly allowed on campus. Or anywhere, really. You're still short of legal drinking age, remember? Rich words for someone practically drooling as he examines a bottle. She got me there. I'm genuinely interested in trying some, even just a little. While Hanako may not be handling one herself, her look does tell me she's far from opposed to the notion as well. Sorry. Lily rubs her forehead, keeping up the fight that she knows Akira would win, due to simply not caring enough about those funny rules and regulations. Just don't breathe a word of this to anyone in school, please. I beg of you. Not that stupid. Don't worry. That said, I gotta get back to work pretty soon. So soon? But you only just arrived. Sorry, Lily. Good to see you two again, though. And you, Hisao. See you later, then. Goodbye, Akira. Man, she really exits really fast. Like, it wasn't even like, it's probably even less than 5 minutes. Like, holy shit. Well, you know, counts. And, you know, she actually made an effort to show up, so, you know. She levers herself with a grunt and waltzes out of the room, leaving us alone with the 2 items on the table. Interesting. Lily gives a nervous giggle at her sister's antics as Hanako takes a wine bottle. So, what do you think, Lily? She rests her elbow on the table and pinches the bridge of her nose, thinking things through. She really doesn't seem to be able to keep up with her sister. Well, it's already here. We might as well have some. No sooner does she say it than I take a quick glance around the room for glasses. A small groan above me reminds me that Lily retired to rest on her bed for a bit a few minutes ago. Almost completely drained of energy, I managed to stand up and drag myself to the side of the bed, sitting down and leaning my back against it. Good God! Lily's groan sounds lightless. Too much to drink? My head hurts. Yeah, too much to drink. I rest my head back and idly stare at the ceiling. What an unmitigated disaster. Like proper idiots, we all drank the night away with 1 glass after another. Hanako simply fell to the side asleep, and it's a miracle I don't feel as ill as Lily. Hey, Hisao? I'm sorry about today. I didn't think this would happen. It's fine, Lily. To tell the truth, I had a lot of fun today. Really? I think Hanako did too. No, she certainly did. There's a short silence, and for another groan resounds from the supine Lily. You okay? As you said, I just drank too much. What's the time? The time? It's... I quickly look at my wristwatch. Its numerals barely legible in the gloom. About midnight. Curfew's in effect then. Yeah, Guess as much. We'll all have to sleep here for tonight. At least they don't do some sort of like room inspection or some shit. I actually don't know how dorms work, man, because I never had to live in one, so, or even had a friend who lived in a dorm. But anyway, as soon as I say it, I hear the sheets moving as Lily starts to sit up. Hanako. No. Go back to sleep. Don't try to get up. Isao, I had to. You're in worse shape than me by any stretch. Get some rest. But what about I'll grab some spare blankets and put them over her. Don't worry. As I give a deep yawn and stand to retrieve them, I hear her lie back down with a soft thud. Thank you, Isao. No problem. It's the least I can do. You look outright wasted. I'm not wasted. Just a little bit tired. She starts pouting. A slight slur begins to distort her words as the alcohol takes hold of her again. I grab a couple of blankets rolled up at the end of her bed. Quietly walking over to Hanako, I carefully lay the blankets over her peacefully sleeping figure, making sure not to wake her up. The thick smell of alcohol coming from her bed makes me doubt that she'll wake up no matter what I did. I stand and take one last measure of the room. 2 girls, both very drunk, and 1 guy sleeping overnight with them in the female student's dorm. What a scandal that'll be if it broke out. As I move to sit back down at the side of the bed, I steal one last glance at Lily. Her sprawling, disheveled figure lies resting peacefully, slightly turned to the side. I crouch down to get a better look. Her white skin blends in with the white pillow of the bed, a look of slumber-born peacefulness on her face. Usually she seems so confident and forward, always there and caring for Hanako. Now, though, she seems painfully delicate. I think back to Hanako's presence. I thought it would be a nice occasion for her, but I hardly expect it to be so moving. One birthday after another, year after year. Just she and Lily all alone. I guess it wasn't just the presents she liked. Resigning myself to an uncomfortable sleep, I sit down at the side of the bed once again and rest my tired arms beside me. Hey, Sal? Lily's voice is so quiet. I can barely hear it. She must be on the verge of sleep. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you? For what? For being here. That's okay. As I hear a deep breath, it's obvious Lily's gone to sleep. After closing my eyes, it doesn't take long for slumber to take me as well. Hisao? Hisao? Are you? The soft, barely audible voice lingering in my ear slowly wakes me. I wish I could be awoken like this more often. With a mumble, I slowly open my... Ah! Wow! Wow! Taken by surprise at the face hovering curiously near millimeters from me, I make our heads collide with a harsh thud. Ow, that hurts! I know what that feels like! Fuck! I felt that, man. I felt that. Holy shit. The impact of our foreheads causes both of us to fall backwards and yell in pain. Lily sounding more like a squeak toy than a person. Oh. I slowly rub my forehead with one hand, supporting myself with the other. Lily lies a few feet ahead, doing just the same, her face obviously pain. Sorry, your face was kind of close and I acted on reflex. You okay? My head. It seems she's not actually okay. Come to think of it, I doubt the impact alone is what's causing her head so much pain. Hangover? You drank a fair bit last night. She silently nods in confirmation as I lever myself. I offer a hand to her and help her back to her feet. Glancing behind her, I find that Hanako is still fast asleep. She's a deep sleeper. Maybe. She drank alcohol and all. It's not fair. I only drink as much as you did. That's very different from what I remember. And anyway, girls have a lower tolerance than men. That doesn't help. Fine, I'll get you a glass of water. Just be careful not to trip over Hanako. I rub the sleep out of my eyes, or at least some of it. As I walk to the counter, tending to someone with a hangover isn't the way I like to spend a morning. It only takes a few seconds for the glass to fill, the clear water reflecting the sliver of light that makes it through the thin curtains. It looks like Lily's taking a seat on the side of the bed. I walk over to her while taking care to step over the peacefully sleeping Hanako and place the glass into her outstretched hands. Thank you. No problem. I take a seat next to her, a soft bed having a surprise amount of give. She drinks slowly and methodically. A long silence passes with only Hanako's soft breath to be heard. With some measure of guilt, I look at Lily's face and attempt to read her expression. Her brow is furrowed, and she looks to be lost in thought. For a moment I hesitate, but eventually place a hand on her shoulder in an attempt to reassure her. I didn't expect her to flinch rather noticeably at that, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Lily quickly shakes her head, in a manner somewhat more violent than usual for her. She takes a long breath to steady herself before... I must look terrible right now. I move to protest, but quickly realize that it would be futile to do so. That said, I want her to open up more. If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. Lily gives a self-depreciating snort, as if to mock her own feelings. There's just a lot happening right now. I'm sorry for being so strange recently, especially back when we were in town. Even now, I'm a bit confused about everything. Believe me, I know how that feels. She smiles wistfully, resting a cheek on the back of her fingers. We're a couple of broken young fools, aren't we? Come on, don't say that. Come graduation, we'll be back out in the real world. The real world? Sometimes I surprise myself with the way I think about things. I guess the strange divorce feeling of Yamaku and the surrounding town compared to the outside world still hasn't become natural. Maybe it never will. It's strange. In hindsight, being isolated from society like this doesn't feel as bad as it probably should. A rare grin on her face. Lily seems to share the same sense of amusement at the idea. Eventually, though, her smile drops. I'll be going back to Scotland for a week or two soon. Is that why we had to reschedule Hanako's birthday party? She gives an affirmative nod. You'll be able to see your family again, at least. You're not looking forward to it? I haven't met my family in 6 years. I don't even know how to act around them anymore. Wait, what? My mouth hangs open as I try to process what she said. If she's 18, that means she's only 12 when they left. I may have seen very little of my parents, what with both of them working long hours, but that's... I feel utterly useless as I struggle to find some way to respond. That's... But why? Why did they leave? Or why are they inviting Akira and me back? Well, I suppose. My father's business has its headquarters in Scotland, and an executive position became available for him there. In the end, he had to move permanently. My mother followed him, but Akira and I stayed in Japan for the sake of both Akira's job within the Japanese branch of my father's company and my education. As for the latter, one of my aunts is gravely sick. I'm sorry. Don't be. It feels strange, really. We've been summoned there for her, yet we barely met before. I can't even remember the sound of her voice. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy she feels toward her family for doing such a thing. I can't help feel slightly humbled. That said, her wistful exterior is just hiding her emotions. Seeing her like this is depressing. Knowing what to do, I let myself off the bed. Lily notices the bed's movements, her head perking up and her hand reaching sideways to feel where I was. Hisao? I walk over to my bag, so leaning against the wall, unbuckling the front flap and retrieving the opaque bag from within. I take the small, plain box in my hands. Hold your hands out, Lily. She looks surprised for a moment, but eventually acquiesces. I'm amused by her look of curiosity when I place the music box in her open palms. Her typically delicate way of handling it makes it seem as if it were fragile enough to break if she breathed it on. She wordlessly brings it in front of her face, her slender fingers feeling out its contours and patterning. Eventually, her fingers find the recessed line between the lid and the box of the body of the box, and her thumb effortlessly pops open the lid. I take a seat on the bed next to her, watching her face silently and intently. She sits completely motionless as she listens to the diminutive, teeny melody, her mouth just slightly open. It takes a long while before she closes the lid with a small snap, bringing the curtain down on the miniature performance playing in her hands. The smile on her face, gentle and wistful, shows that I made the right decision. Think of it as a going away present for your trip to Scotland. I will. A rest of shuffling can be heard from the floor in front of us, the sound having awoken Hanako. She climbs out of the blankets I put over her, looking befuddled and wiping the sleep from her eyes. I see you're finally up. Hmm? What? Hanako looks around the room, with her eyes only half open, her mind far from being as awake as her body. Her dazed state makes me and Lily chuckle. As Lily gets off the bed and attends to Hanako, I take one last look around the room. I guess I better get going then. There'll be questions if I am seen leaving the girls' dormitory in the morning. Goodbye, Hisao. Oh, goodbye. I stand and walk to the door, picking up my somewhat lighter bag along the way. After I leave the room and enter the hallway, though, I hear Lily's footsteps behind me. Hmm? What's wrong? Without a word, she strides up to me. I freeze as I feel her hand slide on to my cheek, seemingly every nerve taking in the feeling of her fingers and palm upon it. I immediately, after, her face slowly moves next to mine. A light momentarily touch of her lips, brushing against my other cheek. Wow. 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 I'm imagining it in my brain right now. For a moment, everything seems to stand still. I absent-mindedly bring my fingers to my cheek, as if to try and recapture the fleeting feeling. Lily, that's my thank you, Hasao. Thank you for your present. Have a nice day in school. And with that, she disappears behind her door and gently closes it. The muffled voices of her and Hanako audible through it much as they were yesterday night. I think I'd be hard pressed not to have a nice day after that. I walk away with a certain spring to my step. I think there were some people around that glanced at me emerging from the girls' dormitory building, but I find it difficult to care. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. Hit-chan, go away. Hit-chan, leave me alone. Come on, Hit-chan. Let me sleep. After 2 nights of not being able to sleep at all, the last thing I want is to be woken when I finally manage to. It might be the last period of class with a textbook as my pillow, but I'll take whatever sleep I can get by this point. See, Hit-chan, even Shit-chan wants you to get up. I don't care what Shizune wants. Leave me alone. Jeez, Hit-chan, I'll just have to wake. Wait, Misha's going to? You. This is bad. I'm up. You don't have to. I can feel my face flowering in a scarlet red blush. The students still in class are standing bolt upright and staring at the shouting fool who was sleeping just moments before. Damn it. I let my head smack down on the table with a noticeable thud. Vicious trademark uncontrollable laugh reverberates through the classroom. As I turn my mournful eyes to the bespectacled Shizune beside her, she carefully adjusts her glasses, desperately trying to maintain a look of serious disapproval. Narrowing my eyes, I can see the badly hidden grin spreading across her face. It, too, Shizune. Shizune looks away quickly as she crosses her arms tightly, barely on the edge of her control. Wow. Risha's laughter doubles in volume as she glances at Shizune. All I can do is drag my head down on my face in resignation. You two. Who was the one who slept in class, Hit-chan? Yeah, it was me. Poor Shit-chan was having a fit trying to wake you up, weren't you? I move my eyes back to the standoffish Shizune, who with a single huff of confirmation returns to looking away with her arms crossed. Why was Shizune trying to wake me up? Shit-chan wanted to give you the handouts the substitute teacher gave out while Hit-chan was sleeping. Handouts? I suddenly find 2 sheets of paper thrust down in front of my face. Following the hands holding them, I see the still pouting figure looking down at me with a distinct scowl. I guess I really am in the wrong here. I'm sorry about that. No dice, her irritated face still holds. I clasp my hands together and flick my head downward in apology. Very, very sorry. She husks and simply drops the papers on the desk. Damn. I look over to see Shizune and Misha signing frantically to each other. A look of frustration in Shizune's face. It looks to be less of a dialogue and more of a tirade, punctuated by a sidelong glances to me. To say it's unsettling is an understatement. The two suddenly stop signing and look at me in unison, both having exactly the same look of disapproval. In one fluid motion, Misha's hand suddenly extends high above me and comes rocketing down. Before I can even hope to react, my head is sent bouncing up and down like a jack-in-the-box. I quickly bring my head to my hands to my head, more out of reflex than actual pain. Oh, what was that for? I open my eyes to see the two grinning at each other while exchanging an enthusiastic thumbs up. Hit-chan says she forgives you now, Hit-chan. Do you forgive me with a little less force next time? Waha. I look at the two with a blank face. Misha and Shizune 1. Hisao, nil. Oh, Shit-chan also says that you should check your student mail more often. She produces a bright yellow envelope and hands it over with an exuberant grin. Strange. Who could have written me a letter? Now is not the time, and most definitely not the place to find out though. Getting up on the map so cruelly stolen from me, I rub my forehead, slowly get up, putting the sheets and envelope in my bag before swinging it over my shoulder. I take a step back and move to depart with a small bow, while Misha clutches her sides laughing and Shizune nods back in a curt farewell. I joined the flow of students exiting the open door and turned the corner into the hallway, only to end up face to face with Hanako. Oh, hey, Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisao. Silence falls between us as busily chatting students pass us by. She's fidgeting constantly, her eyes drawn to her rather unremarkable footwear. I take the bridge of my nose to my fingers while I blink my eyes heavily and attempt to make things seem clearer. I'm barely staying awake as it is. Hanako, you want to say something? What is it? Um, um, I wanted to give you this. Hmm? She holds out a small rectangular piece of paper. I blink again to make out the text through barely open eyes, slowly starting to make out what's written. Eggs, bread loaf, whole grain cereal, time. It's a shopping list. What the hell? A shopping list? I look upwards and raising an eyebrow. I usually go shopping with Lily, but I can't. So I can't come. So you want me to run errands for you? It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought that maybe she's panicking. I sigh. At another battle lost, though this time by a weakly bought surrender. I smile tiredly and rest a hand on her head to calm her down. It's fine. I was going to go anyway. Just to stop on this list? She nods and bows deeply, twice, as if to make her gratitude perfectly clear. We we were going to meet outside the school gates at 6. Thank you. I was going to get it, but I need to study for the test tomorrow. Test? Ah, that's right. Science. How are you doing with it? She brightens ever so slightly. I've been spending more time on it than before. I think I can do okay. Good work then. She too starts smiling, and much more earnestly than I at that. I have full confidence that I can do fine in it without any extra studying. But the fact that she's putting in the effort instead of just reading in the library is heartening. I'll grab your stuff and take it to your dorm in the evening. See ya. In a small way, we part ways. I'll go do my homework before meeting Lily. I should be able to take care of it in time. Time is at 7:42. Nice. Wrangling with a particularly complicated math problem has caused me to be a little bit late for my meeting with Lily. Only a couple of minutes, but enough to make me step smartly out into the courtyard and to the school gate. I make a right turn and start my way toward the small town below, leaving a few students turning the other way to the bus station. I slip my right hand into my pocket as I walk in the orange sunlight of dusk. Thankfully, the sweltering summer heat starting to die down, making way for a pleasant cool breeze. By the way, today is so hot. I don't get it. What the fuck? Anyway, that was a random rant. While I stretch my hands high above my head, a familiar figure takes form, cane in her right hand. Lily. She stops and turns around, swirling her head slightly to try and work out exactly where the voice came from. Hey, it's me. I quickly catch up to her, coming in beside her, matching her slow pace as we resume walking. Good afternoon, Hisao. Hi there. I glance up at the sky. A distinct tinge of orange discolors the clouds, washing the footpath in its light. Long shadows from the trees fall across the wide road down the hill. So, Hisao, what brings you here? Just going to town to grab some groceries. Hanako sent me. Hanako sent you? Yeah. She said she needed to study for a test tomorrow. I was going to come down anyway. So, I'll just buy her stuff as well. Unspoken is that Lily really could use some help to get food, but it's obvious fact that neither of us needs to stay. It's good to hear she's studying for it. I thought the same thing when she asked me to come with you. We continue walking down the street, the familiar sound of her cane echoing through the air as we go. Except for the occasional passing car and the leaves whispering in the branches, there's a blissful silence. Thank God, I can finally relax for the first time today. I glance over at Lily. The porcelain face of hers never seems to lack the air of relaxed confidence. I guess the same could be said of her personality too. As she silently walks, her face remains pointed to the street ahead of her. I look ahead and savor the cool air blowing over my face. This is probably the calmest moment I had since the about face my life took so recently. To have it while walking to get some groceries. What a weird life. I feel the crumpled up note rubbing against my hand in my pocket and pull it out to check its contents. Let's see here. Eggs, bread, cereal, thyme, lettuce, shaved ham. I guess he put his own groceries in the same note because I remember it ends at time, but so I guess he put his own. That sounds like quite a bit to carry back along with your own. Yeah, just how much does this girl eat anyway? But he added some things on the list, like the original list didn't even have ham, so I don't know if he added it and he forgot, so it's kind of weird. My mind suddenly clicks that yes, there actually is a person beside me. Wait, I mean, she laughs wholeheartedly. My, Hisao. Her giggles punctuate her words, though she's making a little effort to surprise them. Quite direct today, aren't we? Yeah, you got me there. It is quite a bit. Usually I go shopping with Hanako, so I know what she buys. The same thing every week. Huh. She a good cook? She gives me a nervous giggle. Oh my god, nervous giggle. That's not that doesn't sound good. It's usually me who ends up cooking. I used to do so for Akira, so it's no problem doing it for Hanako as well. You can cook, but a short hum with an amused light emanates from beside me. I wonder if the fact that she seems amused by my comments so often is actually genuine, or rather just from what a want to make me more comfortable in addressing her blindness. There are ways around it. Some meals are more difficult to cook than others because of being unable to see what I'm doing. But it usually only takes a little more time. Fingers can double as a very useful measuring tools, for example. What about the stuff that involves heat? Because I was trying to, when I first heard that she cooks for Akira, I think to myself, how does she handle like a stove or like a oven? Well, the oven, you could probably put some braille on it, label it with some braille. I actually don't know. Maybe they do. But like a fucking stove, I'm kind of scared. Or maybe there's like a, I have no idea. Let's continue. Maybe she explains it here. It makes sense, but she had to be pretty careful not to hurt herself. I wonder how many times that happened, given that it sounds like she cooked alone for possibly years while Akira worked and her parents were gone. Wait a second, what about things that involve slicing? Oh. With that, the conversation trails off. Well, you know, some people can slice things without actually looking at it, but you know, when you're starting out, I don't know how that works. Like, it's a different story if you're so used to like you can just, well, maybe that's it. Maybe they skip the entire step that's bothering me. I mean, if some chefs are able to slice something without actually looking at it, then maybe, but I just don't get it. or maybe because I haven't seen someone, a blind person try to do it. I actually got curious about that now. Anyway, let's continue. Compared to the awkward silences of Hanako, Lily seems generally content to say what she thinks and stay quiet when there's nothing to say. The slick road under my feet is bathed in an orange glow, the occasional fallen leaf crunching underfoot as we walk. Wait, they're already getting occasional falling leaf? What the hell? I let out a deep yawn, my lack of sleep coming back to haunt me. Did you not get much sleep last night? I couldn't sleep at all for the last 2 nights. Probably insomnia. By the way, I also need to worry about sleeping early today. At 7:50, I'll try to end at 11. A little earlier than usual, but I want to get a lot of sleep. Anyway. Lily's face suddenly becomes worried. It feels like a personal failure every time she gets worried about my well-being. Even if it's genuinely nice to know someone cares. You have insomnia? Aren't you going to see the nurse about it? Nah, no real need. It's happened before a few times. My med's screwing up with my sleeping occasionally. Ah, I'm sorry. Come on, it's not your fault. At least I shouldn't have any trouble getting to sleep tonight. You do worry me sometimes. I worry? I reach around, scratch the back of my neck. I kind of want to address this. Hey, Lily. Hmm? I don't mean to sound weird, but please, try to forget about my heart condition. She looks kind of lost. I hardly blame her. I guess what I'm trying to say is, just don't treat me differently because of it. Oh my God, he does that. He I'm surprised he well, it's kind of expected that eventually he'll have this kind of moment. Although Lily kind of did something similar. Oh yeah, Lily did say that earlier. She kind of made a statement about not feeling pity and all, because we are, you know, we're different. But then she kind of does the same. She shows some kind of pity that, that's contradictory to what she mentioned 2 nights ago. She bows her head slightly, her white cheeks reddening almost imperceptibly. It's only natural to worry about those around you. Well, it's still nice to know there's someone like that out there. It may be somewhat embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. Lily takes a breath to regain her composure and manages a gentle smile. Through her cheeks remain flushed. The final downhill walk to the store passes in silence. At least he took it a little bit. At least he took it at I don't know the way I interpreted when he said that line, because I was like, didn't Lily say something? Something similar. And then I'm like, wait a second. Anyway, maybe I overthink it. Ooh, I love this. This is the lemon. This is the chew high. This is chew high, right, or something. That's sochu. No, I can't remember what you call that. It's a lemon. That's an alcoholic, low alcohol lemon drink. This kind of looks like fucking Tanwai. I have no idea. Maybe it is. But anyway, let's continue. Welcome. I suppose I'll get my stuff first. And Hanako's on the second round. Why is this combini so complete, man? It's more like a supermarket than like a fucking convenience store. But anyway. I grabbed 2 well-worn red baskets from the stack beside the entrance and passed one to Lily. Just as she did before, she lays it on the ground and slides her retracted cane between the basket's handles before picking it back up with her right hand. When she takes hold of my arm in her own, I'm surprised at just how fast this kind of casual contact becomes so natural. Mostly due to necessity, no doubt. Shall we? Sure. While we navigate around the store, the odd person occasionally passing us pays no heed at all. It's nice, compared to the stares and whispers around the city. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Louie what she needs and grabs it along with what I want, putting our items into their respective baskets. It's an odd feeling to be dependent on so much for something so basic as shopping. Hanako would be practically a necessity for her to pick out what she wants after all. What about her private stuff, you know? I mean, you know what? I don't want to think about this right now, but, you know, because I'm trying to imagine a realistic situation in my brain right now, and you know, what if she needs to, I don't know, get stockings or some shit. I don't know, you know, womanly things, deodorant and menstrual wash or some shit, or pads, or I don't know, man. I think about that. It's like. Anyway, let's continue. This is a fictional story, so let's not think about too deeply about this. But I am curious about like situations like that. Right. I'm pretty much done with both my stuff and Hanako's. Need anything else, Lily? I mean, if it's so natural for her to put her arms on Hisao due to necessity, I can imagine it's going to be like that. I mean, it can't be helped, you know. Shogunai or some shit. Well, let's continue. No, this should be everything. On we go then. Oddly, there's a queue a mile long. Considering the store is only large enough to wear one counter, seems like it'll take a while. Damn. Lily gives an inquisitive look, unable to see the reason for my complaint. The queue's really long. Most likely we'll have to wait. How strange. Sharing the same mood of resignation, we reluctantly take our place at the end of the line. One person finishes, the line moves up. Another person finishes, the line moves up. By the time we finally reach the head of the line, I'm so close to dozing off that Lily has to gently pat me in the back for me to move up. Sal! Sorry. She gives a small sigh of consternation as we move up. Getting the groceries for Hanako and me put into separate bags. Thank you. Please come again. The 7-Eleven, also known as Oro Mart. By the time there's going to be 7-Eleven with Japanese items. I don't know if it's going to be in the city. You know what? I also kind of live so close to a 7-Eleven, and I really hope it's one of the branches that's going to get the Japanese menu, Japanese items, because I'm totally down to get some onigiri, and I hope it's actually good. But I have a bad feeling, you know. I have a bad feeling. But I heard the suppliers, the same guys who actually make the ones in Japan, so they've expanded their business, and I can imagine they probably figured out the logistics, assuming they're, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they get if the same supplier can handle the logistics network here in the U.S. But I think they're based in Hawaii. But I'm confused. The headquarters of that company. I'm actually confused how that works. I'll try to research more on that. All I can say is I want to have a 7-Eleven with the literally same stuff that you see in Japan, and the quality not so far from each other. But I can imagine the price is going to be ass for sure. Like something you can get from a company for like 300 yen is not going to be like the equivalent here in New York, man. It's going to be expensive, ass expensive. But anyway, let's continue with the story. By the time we emerge from the store, Lily is holding a single bag while I struggle to carry four, both hands well and truly full. It's a lot of work, but thankfully, the items in them are light. Even without looking skyward, it's obvious that a surprising amount of time has passed, the road outside being dark and lit by street lamps. Once Lily retrieves her cane, we set out back to the dormitories the way we came, leaving the welcoming, warm glow of the store. Despite the road being empty of cars, the full bags abundantly make up for the lack of noise, constantly chuckling, clucking, and squeaking together. My, Hisao. It's good to find that you're eating well. I'm a growing guy after all. I need to eat all I can. Hmm, it must be nice being a man. But what? Seemingly not noticing or ignoring my surprise at the completely out of left field comment, she continues on without missing a beat. Weight doesn't really bother you when eating, most of the time. I get what you mean. Women tend to worry about stuff like that more than we do, I guess. Exactly. It makes me somewhat envious, to be honest. Well, it's not like we can outright ignore it. Well, with a affirmative nod, we continue on our walk. Huh. That's right. What is it? Hanako mentioned your birthday was earlier this year. Do anything special for it? She gives a long pause, lost in thought for a few seconds as she recalls the event. Not really. It was just Hanako and me having a little party during the night after school. Your birthday's supposed to be a big event, you know. Sounds like a pretty lonely way to spend a birthday. Just her and Hanako staying overnight. Birthdays always felt like a family occasion for me. There were a time when, in spite of their full-time jobs, both my parents would make an effort to be there for the day, or at least a party beforehand. It reminds me of how Lily mentioned she hadn't seen her family in such a long time, and even ended up moving away from Akira's house afterwards. But I guess it's the same in situations as mundane as these. Considering her inability to read the packaging, just getting groceries would be a pain without somebody else around. In the end, she just has Hanako and me, and Akira when she's off from work. Be that as it may, she still seems to have many more distant friends among the students, not to mention people like Yuko. It seems to be her own choice that there is such a separation between those who are close to her and those who she only socializes with. It humbles me a little to see how much Lily seems to have her life set up and going just as she wants. Yet, Hanako is there for her to celebrate her birthday, and I'm here helping her with shopping. It's a weird kind of symbiosis, I suppose. Are you alright, Hisao? Sorry? You just seem to go very quiet. That's all. Sorry. I was just thinking. Oh? Now I pique her curiosity. Feels kind of overly personal to talk about, though. Alright, I'm making a save. Oh wait, I already doubled that. You know, for this woman, telling the truth would be a good idea. I mean, considering she's, you know. I don't know, that's my instinctive choice to tell the truth. But then again, I can't think of a reason why I should avoid the subject. It's not like he has something particularly let me try to tell the truth. That's why I save anyway. Let's see how this goes. It was just kind of, I was thinking about how you seem to have everything so sorted out. even with Hanako relying on you. Although there is one thing that doesn't seem sorted out, or maybe it is. I mean, she is still bothered about. I get a feeling that she's bothered about going back to Scotland after all, and you know. Let's continue with this for now. I was thinking about how you seem to have everything so sorted out, even with Hanako relying on you. I can admit that even I kind of relied on you when I first transferred in. I think it's a good quality to have. I turned to Lily, surveying her reaction. She's forcing herself to look forward, furrowing her brow quite a bit. Her face looks a bit awkward, as if she was trying to find just the right words. Lily, I would thank you, but assuming that I don't rely on the presence of others is too much. You'd be wrong to think that Hanako simply depends on me with nothing in return. She seems to have a bit of trouble saying it, even though it's largely what I thought already. If she's trying so hard to maintain her independence, as anyone would have had to in her position, cited or not, maybe she finds it hard to talk about her own needs. It's only now that I realize an omission in what she says. I decide to follow it up, largely in jest to avoid things getting too personal. Oh, and what about me? She suddenly runs ahead of me and turns, blocking me off. With a smile, she holds her hands behind her. She leans forwards. You're different. Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice. We got it. We got it. We're so in, guys. We are so in. Holy shit. We are so in. And with that, she turns back and continues to walk ahead of me, a newfound spring in her step. All I can do is raise an eyebrow and give a dazed grin. I don't think I've ever seen this playful and teasing side of her before. So, I'm different. It's hard to work out the exact context, but knowing her, this ambiguity was intended. Our relationship has been changing, at the very least, simply because I've begun to stand on my own feet more, and started getting more curious about the situation of those around me. As to why, probably a mix of personal curiosity, and I want to try and work out how to deal with my situation. I'm less sure of Lily, though. That's why her own statement, so similar to my own feelings towards her, throws me off so much. Watching her make her way up the street, cane tapping from left to right, I decide to settle the matter later and just smile. This is a nice side to her, and I don't want to forget it. Eventually, we get to the girls' dormitories, both my arms aching from the weights of 2 sets of groceries. We're finally here. I bend down to wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lily stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around her pocket for the key. Thank you, Hisao. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. It might not be nothing to you. It might be nothing to you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through her door, closing it behind her. I blink. Those were nothing but honest thanks. But I can't help the feeling something different about them. Anyway, I had something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. I turn back to the door to Hanako's room, proceeding to knock twice in quick succession, the bag still in my hand rustling together. I like how slowly it opened. After a couple of seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hasn't moved at all. I twist my head to decide to try and peer through the tiny sliver of gap between the door and the door frame. Hey Hanako, I got your stuff. Ah. With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder. Sparsely decorated, it's probably even more unremarkable than my room. I hold out my right arm, both bags almost pulling it straight down with their weight. Thank you, Hisao. I'm sorry to make you carry them all this way. It's fine. Don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I pass the bags to her as I give a light-hearted chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she manages to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako. Good night. Um, see you in class tomorrow. With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag into my other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's light-hearted smile out of my mind. When I first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Indeed, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks, since I first got to know both her and Hanako. The time that I spend with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, the small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just normal feelings of friendship. Once I return to my room, I store away my groceries and begin getting ready for the night. I swap the school bags in my bag for those I will need tomorrow, pulling out the yellow envelope Misha gave me earlier in the process. I got so sidetracked by one thing after another that I couldn't deal with it earlier. Who could have written me, I wonder? The name neatly adorning the back of the envelope freezes me in my tracks. It's been so long since I've seen her writing. There's a little chance I could have identified it as hers otherwise. Iwanako. Why should she have written me? I can't think of any good reason for her to do this. I almost don't open the letter, but there'll be little point to that. If I just left it alone, its mere existence would gnaw at me until I did something about it. I looked down at the piece of paper on my desk, its bright and summery decoration beaming happily at me. The lettering is in pink, jarring badly with a yellow sunflower border on the card. The handwriting is neat. The characters have been written thoughtfully and with an unusual amount of care. I barely given the letter a second thought when it was given to me, but now I can't get its contents out of my mind. But I'd like to say that I don't know why she used such an old-fashioned method of communication, considering a phone call or an email would be both much more faster and easier. The answer feels obvious enough given the content. A letter leaves a comfortable distance between the sender and the recipient. Unlike a phone, it isn't required that you engage in conversation, and unlike email, there is less expectation for an immediate reply. Oh yeah, I haven't been reading some emails. That's not true. Maybe because I'm so used to getting so much emails that I'm like, I forgot about it, bro. So sorry, I just started checking my email. I don't know why. All right, let's continue. My own distraction was. Okay, I don't know why I got myself distracted. All right, let's continue. Let's continue. All right. Statements such as third years seem to be very anxious about their final exams, and it's so weird to think we are already seniors, isn't it? Are just small talk. Small talk that could have been achieved by simply replying to any of the messages I've sent her while in the hospital. The ending, though, is the true reason she sent this. The last couple of lines added almost an afterthought. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. It's a statement that should hurt. I've always heard breakups are nasty stuff, but it feels like this is simply a reaffirmation of what we both already knew instead. It's the preceding text, no more than small talk, that makes me feel most uneasy. I can't figure out why. No matter how long I sit here and look down at this bright and summery piece of paper. If you would like to correspond with me, by all means, write me back. It's plainly obvious that this is not the type of letter to be replied to. Yeah, she's just being polite. She's just being polite. In the end, this letter is no more than a simple abdication of responsibility, a final statement to reassure herself that our relationship is over. Yeah, she's just cleaning house, man. She's just cleaning house. What an asshole. I mean, holy shit. Like, in the hospital stuff alone, like, I guess she was the last person who came to visit, but after that, she just never visited ever again. Like, what an asshole. Then she sends a letter like this? What a straight up asshole. It's more like she's obviously thinking about herself at this point. It's like she can't, she probably has her own guilt, but she only thought about like cleaning her hands out of this entire thing. It's like she's just giving herself an excuse to like clean her hands, so she wouldn't feel so guilty or whatever about a guy she promised to be like, the guy she accepted to date, but what an asshole. As such, I have little problem in scrunching the letter and envelope into a ball and tossing it into the waste bin, ridding myself of its existence. I go to bed with mixed feelings, cheated out of a pleasant evening by this intruder from the past. Ironically, it takes a while before I can manage to sleep. 8:16. Okay, yeah, I still have a lot of time. I can make it, guys. I still have a lot of time. I hope. I sweat profusely, awaiting the dreaded moment. Each tick of the clock tenses my muscles then much more, every minute making more hairs stand on end. It's coming for me. I can feel it. Death. Death in the form of a single sheet of paper. I take the small pile of papers from the student in front of me, pass it backwards after plucking off the top piece. Oh, are they getting their exams back or some shit? Looking to the top right of the page, I find my fears realized with that small red circle. 43. RIP. Assuming this is over 100. It's RIP, man. It's RIP. I hang my head and sigh in resignation, cursing under my breath. I can feel the aura of a similar sentiment rising from the entire class. It's strange, but that fact lifts my mood by a minuscule amount. Misery loves company, I suppose. As the teacher opens her mouth, the room braces for an inevitable onslaught, only to be saved at the last minute. We quickly move to collect our bags and leave for lunch post haste, but the teacher delivers a parting broadside. We'll be discussing the test scores next lesson. Needless to say, there will be quite some discussion to be had. You mean adjusting? Scaling? that's a bullshit thing that happens in college, man. In undergrad, I mean. Scaling? What the fuck is that, bro? Why do you scale? Anyway. What is this weak ass? Never mind. Because a lot of people have inflated grades that don't make sense when you see them when asked to perform in real life. A collective groan resounds from the class, and I reduce to shuffling out dejectedly. I push the sheet into my bag as I walk along the hallway, crumpling it in the process. It's not that such a troublesome letter ended up on my desk yesterday, and now this. I hate English. Oh, looky here. Someone has a good excuse. Someone finally has a good excuse to learn English. Oh. A stern female voice gruffly calls out from behind me. I freeze on the spot, my face becoming like stone. It's as if I can feel my brain disconnecting from my body. My eyes slowly shift right, trying to catch a glimpse of the disembodied voice. Huh? Nothing. My face begins to slip as time passes. I decide to risk turning my head ever so slowly. I twist it to the... Yeah! I jump into the air and drop my bag, yelling out in surprise. As I recover and regain my composure, I turn to see... I should have known. Emmy. Ah, damn, her route's calling me again. Don't worry, I'm doing her route after this, but man, what a way to remind me. I thought she disappeared. I thought the visual novel cliche, as mentioned in Totano, was that in routes, once you have a route, you never see the other route girls or some shit. Just kidding. That's an old thing. Well, I think some Nukages still do that shit. I think some Nukages still do that. So, anyway. Well, it's good to see Emmy. Gotcha, Hisao. She stands there with a mischievous grin on her face. Hands forward and fingers pointed inwards. She was the one who jabbed my wrist with her fingers. Why does she keep hurting me, man? Doesn't she know I could die? I could actually literally die? What the fuck, man? I look down at her with a grimace, roping my hair in frustration. That's no way to greet someone you know. You had no sense of humor. I left my sense of humor in English class, complaining to the teacher if you wanted given back to me. She pulls her best puppy dog eyes on me as she pouts. Louis managed to build up my resistance to the tactic, but Emmy's short stature adds enough to the effect to make me relent. So, how are things? I haven't seen you around for a while. Same old, same old. I run so fast nobody wants to join me on my morning runs. It's a real pain. Her modesty never fails to amuse me. Although... Uh-oh. You know what I'm thinking? Don't you? Hisao. Wearing my emotion to my sleeve is one of my worst habits. She's seen right through me. Fortunately, I see somebody else approaching us that will give me an out. Oh, hi, Hanako. I give her a welcoming wave and try my best at looking like I haven't noticed Emmy's pouting face. What an asshole. She gives a small wave back. Hello, Hisao. Emmy. Hey, Hanako. I'll join you and Lily in a sec. And actually, speaking of lunchtime company, it's odd to see you without Rin, Emmy. Ah, Rin! Without a second word, she forgets all about us and bolts up the hallway. She must have forgotten she was waiting for her. Hanako and I stand speechless, only able to helplessly stand and watch this ball of seemingly boundless energy dash off. By the way, the painting really does look like CIA. If you know the exact reference, man, he really does look like CIA. There's no fucking way. Must be coincidence. I already mentioned this earlier, but he really does look like CIA. By the way, that particular reference, you really have to go to 4chan to know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, let's continue. Oh yeah, Hisao. She suddenly stops herself just before vanishing around the corner to the rooftop staircase, spinning around to meet our bemused faces. I hate English too. And with that, she disappears. Is this route? Is that encounter still trying to get me back to Emmy's route? I'm doing it after. Don't worry, man. Emmy, don't worry about it. I'm gonna come back. What the fuck? Anyway, all I can do is hang my head and give a long sigh, thoroughly left in the dust. As I hear a short giggle coming from behind me, I turn to see Hanako smiling at the corner my attacker rounded. I pick up my drop bag from the floor and quickly dust it off. Afternoon. Been busy? You don't like English? Oh, nah. I had a test on it a while back, and Emmy caught me brooding about the results. Sorry. She averts her gaze, written on her face. A casual observer would think she just accidentally reminded me of a dead relative. Come on, it's not your fault. How are you doing in it? She looks up, though, still avoiding my eyes. Alright, I suppose. An awkward silence passes. They seem all too common around Hanako. Oh, Lily asked if you'd like to join us for lunch on the roof. I guess I don't exactly have any pressing engagements to attend to. Wait, the roof? Sure, I'll be right up. I'll go get my lunch from the cafeteria now then. Go on. You don't need my approval to leave, you know. Oh, okay. I'll be going then. She gives a skittish reply, a small nod, and quickly makes off toward the cafeteria. I guess she must have forgotten to bring lunch today. As I walk through the hallways, more and more students start to come out of the classrooms and pass me, going in the same direction as Hanako went. By the time I manage to make it through the stairs, I'm having to push my way past a busily chatting throng of students. I finally manage to get past the last of the crowd and round the staircase, slumping slightly in relief and slowing my pace before I open the door to the roof. Ah, damn! I momentarily avert my eyes, all but blinded by the harsh summer sun. Oh, they're all together. What an interesting day this is. Holy shit. What an interesting day. What is going on? Oh my god, what is going on? What an interesting day. As I slowly regain my vision, the surroundings finally take form. Lily, Emmy, and Rin sitting together on the rooftop. The top of the hilltop forest around Yamaku visible past the fence around them, as if to frame the view. Ah, Hisao! Lily and Rin give a quick nod of acknowledgement, and a deep nod of greeting respectively. I start walking towards the rather mismatched trio, and can't help marveling at the speed with which Emmy devours the rest of her half-eaten banana. Hey, strange to see you three together like this. It seems to have been quite a day of coincidences. Emily and Ren decided to eat on the roof, just as Hanako and I decided to. You stole it. This spot was ours. Simmer down. You can't steal a place in the school. I plonked myself down beside Lily, the four of us creating a semicircle. I think she is right. You too? The butterfly is our accomplice. The butter. As I glance around, sure enough, a small yellow butterfly floats across my field of vision. So tell me, how did this butterfly help Lily steal the spot? I scattered out our conversation and told her I should have known better than to expect sound reasoning from Rin. Regardless, I guess it wouldn't hurt to play along. You're telling me she can talk to butterflies? There are people who can talk to horses, called horse whisperers. Lily must be a butterfly whisperer. I bury my head in my hands as Emmy rounds on her strange companion. She doesn't seem to share Rin's sense of humor. Whisperers don't work like that. Emmy and Rin continue their banter as I turn to Lily, who's busily finishing off her small box of curry and rice. You know what? This is the first time we actually have lunch with her, because most of the time we're just actually having tea. This is the first time I've actually seen her eat. Even on in the Shanghai, I don't even recall her eating. Yeah, I think this is the first time we actually see her eat. Wait, I'll be right back. My eyes for some reason. Fuck. Kind of weird. I'll be right back. why my eyes hurt. My eyes hurt. I don't get it. Emmy and Rin continue their banter as they turn to Lily, who's busily finishing off her small box of curry and rice. So, what brought you up here anyway? A little fresh air every now and then, and every now and again. Doesn't hurt? Ah! Emmy breaks off from her vain attempts to introduce the concept of logic to Rin. That's why we came up here too! What are you talking about? You're always here. Something tells me it was her idea alone, and that Rin only got dragged up here on Emmy's Then again, the same could be said. The same could probably be said of Lily and Hanako. No, we can share. The creaking of the door to the room can be heard as soon as she says the words. A moment of silence falls over us as everyone's attention focuses on the figure appearing from it. Hanako slowly walks over to us. Her eyes pinned to the ground, silently ruining the attention she's attracting. She tenses just barely when her eyes meet Rin's. I can't help raise an eyebrow as she walks over to us and sitting next to me, doing her utmost to avoid looking up even as she brings her cafeteria bread to her mouth. So, how do you and Emmy know each other anyways? Emmy's somewhat well known around the school for her athletic ability. She's the fastest member of the track and field club by some margin, even beating Miki Miura at the track meet last week. Miki Miura. Ah, a tan girl from the front of my class. Considering her height and toned body, being able to beat her is quite an accomplishment. Looking over to Emmy, it's very clear she's well aware of this fact and she beams proudly. So Hisao, what was your score in English? What the fuck? Really, man? Really? You're bringing this up? Why? Well, actually, this is a good excuse for me and Lily to hang out. But you know, if she wasn't good in English, bringing this up is like a douchebag move. What the fuck, Amy? What the fuck, man? Alright, let's do this. Ouch. No comment. Boo. She puffs her chest. Chest. Why did I think chest, man? Alright. She puffs her cheeks and pouts. But it doesn't take long for her to bounce back. Alright. If I tell you mine, you had to tell me yours. Deal? Fine. Okay. On the count of 3, we both say our results. 1, 2, 3. 32. Actually scored high. So actually scored higher than Emmy. I beat you a mission with grin. Evil. You said it, not me. Still, the fact you managed to even lower score than me is kind of amazing. She looks and sounds like a small terrier growling at an intruder. I can't say it's the most threatening sight I've seen. Why is Emmy trying to pull me to her route right now? What the fuck? Either way, scoring higher than 32 isn't something to boast about, much less scoring below it for any subject. Yes, Lily. Sorry, Lily. I could help you with your English if you like. It would be my pleasure to... No, that's fine, but I appreciate the thought, really. Lily looks slightly deflated, her hopes of imparting her knowledge dashed. Judging from the badly hidden laughter of the rest of us, neither she nor Emmy seem to have garnered too much pity. What the fuck? Am I having a Nanaya moment right now? Why am I having a Nanaya moment right now? Why am I having a Nanaya moment right now? Anyway, no, because you know, I sometimes think about Shiki when you sometimes think about Shiki because he's also supposedly sickly and all. Well, he is technically kind of dead. I mean, and sometimes he has that anemia moment, and it feels like this. As I sit happily laughing though, I feel my voice suddenly cut off as my chest clenches. I sit in silence for a few seconds, all my concentration forced on my heartbeat. It's only a small pain, but the ache feels like it's growing. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. I glance upward to try and keep at least some of my attention on my surroundings. To see Emmy suddenly freezing when she notices the expression of pain on my face out of the corner of her eye. Hey, Hisao, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I look back down and redouble my efforts to try and stay calm, clenching my fist to try and dull the pain. It takes a short time, but the pain, thankfully, begins to fade. When I look back up, there's only silence and pensive faces to be seen. I guess I'd better explain myself. Arrhythmia. I'm fine. It's just a heart flutter. Are you sure? Should we get the nurse? Taking her cue, Hanako quickly picks herself up and begins to dash to the door. Hanako, stop. Lily. Hanako, stop. Lily. I'm fine. You look like a wet, wrinkled tomato. Huh? As I bring my hand to my forehead, I can feel the beads of sweat gathered on it and dab them off with my cuff. Thanks. I told you. I'm fine. I'm just kind of fragile, I guess. But not that fragile. Sorry, that was a low hanging fruit. I may be fragile, but not that fragile. Sorry, man. That's a low hanging fruit for me, man. That line, man. That fucking line. Anyway. The entire atmosphere changed from one of gaiety to downcast faces, the situation being too awkward for anyone to know exactly how to react. And of course, the whole thing is thanks to me. It just had to happen now around others. Oh, Emmy? She looks up, a box of juice halfway to her mouth. I haven't told you on my score yet, have I? Yeah, well, you're half foreign, so your score doesn't count anyway. Lifting an eyebrow, I inquisitively turned to Lily. What was your test result anyway? She gives a cheeky grin. Of course she'll get really high. What the fuck? 100%. Perfect score. Of course, man. It's English. She wants to be an English teacher. She knows English from her childhood. Why wouldn't it be 100%? The fuck? Is she dabbing on us right now? No way. All I can do is hang my mouth open in wonder. Considering those tests are insane, even for some native speakers, I can only imagine she's gone and done something like committing to mind, part of the dictionary. A gift for rote memorization, maybe. That's... See? Only someone part foreign could get a score that good. See? Lily and I grinned at Emmy's expense. Her reaction identical to mine when I first tripped on that little landmine. Lily's foreign ancestry does raise a point, though. Ah, that's right. You leave tomorrow for Scotland, don't you? That's correct. Emmy heard some rumors about it. It seems word's spreading quickly, considering I only told a friend in my class a couple of days ago. It must be so nice to go halfway around the world on a holiday. Hey, could you buy me something while you're there? Don't be too shy now. Lily gives a light-hearted giggle, evidently fully expecting Emmy's bluntness. The rest of the lunch continues much the same as before. The jauntiness from before my heart flutter, thankfully returning in full. As everyone flies off to with the appropriate farewells, only Lily and I are left. Hey, Lily? She packs the last of her things into her bag and clips it shut before perking her head up slightly. By the way, I expect Hanako to at least wait for a little, but I guess she has her own thing nowadays. Anyway, Okay, I repeated that shit. Thanks for breaking the silence back there. I kind of wanted to stop it, but didn't really know how to. As much as I'd like to sound less morose about it, the letter from yesterday, screwing up a test so badly in class, and now my heart makes things very hard indeed. She gives an indulgent smile and nods. I hope she hasn't picked up on it, but knowing her, it's unlikely that she hasn't. Emmy's strong, but only human. We do worry about you, Hisao. Hold on. Why would I worry you? Her smiling face collapses, becoming uncomfortably serious. Hisao, we're not ignorant of your situation. Unlike... She suddenly cuts herself short, unsure of whether she should say what she intends to. I give a weak smile and rest my hand on her shoulder. Don't. It's not that I worry about it. I don't want you to all shoulder my burden. But if you all worry about it, I have to worry about your worrying. If that makes sense. I'm fine. Okay. For a moment she looks to be lost in thought, carefully pondering how to react. Sal, do you have any paper left from your Poods packaging? I think so. I'll just check. I rummage around in my bag for leftovers from lunch, eventually finding a paper square from my sandwiches package. My eyebrow raised and my expression rather quizzical. I gently place the square into Lily's hand. Without any word, she brings her fingers around it to feel its edges. This should be large enough. Both of us seated on the roof, the minutes to the lesson ticking away. She proceeds to lay the item on the ground, beginning her work in earnest. Wrapped in silence, I watch her fingers move about on the small square with amazing dexterity. A small fold here, a larger fold there. Her fingertips keep a slow but sure pace. Looking up, her expression is calm and placid. The fact her face is pointing well above the sheet in front of her makes the sight of her work all more curious. Her shoulders slump a bit after finishing one final fold. Her work apparently done. It's only when she holds the item up in her hands that I realize what it is. I knew it, it's a crane. A small origami crane. Light brown thanks to the packaging used. The result looks quite delicate and precise. You can do origami? I taught myself how to do it when I was younger. I improved my dexterity a bit. Huh. A little baffled, I carefully take the small bird from her pale cupped hands, as if it would break for the slightest breath. It seems to be folded quite well, and holds the shape easily. We both grab our bags and head out the door, Lily extending her cane as she does so. I hold Lily's handiwork to my face for further inspection while we walk down the hallway, her hand running along the silver handrails for orientation. If she taught herself origami to improve her dexterity, with the use of her hands meaning so much to her given her condition. Ah, so that's it. I smile as I realize the bird's meaning. Everyone here has had to find their own way of dealing with their conditions. You aren't alone here when you have problems. I have to remember this, bro. I have to remember this specifically. This will be a huge clue to things for the future options. Anyway, thanks, Lily. I appreciate this. She gives a sweet smile and a nod, not using words where none need to be used in her typical manner. All I ask is that you take care of yourself, Isao. Don't worry. I will. Promise? Promise. And with that, we part ways. To be honest, I don't know what annoys me more. The fact that I could die at any moment, or the fact that everyone knows that. I guess I'll just take each day as it comes. As the unexpected present in my hand reminds me, I'm not alone here. Even though I may be like this, I'm not alone. If they worry, if anyone worries, I'll smile. I'll smile enough for all their words to go away. The moment the bell rings out, a collected sigh of relief comes from everyone. Much of the morning has been taken up by a droning lecture on stoichiometry, a topic entirely unbefitting of the insufferable heat permeating the classroom. Knowing that attempting to teach anything more would be an exercise in futility, Mito gets up and begins clearing the teaching materials from his desk for the day. As meaningless banter starts filling the room, I notice Hanako getting up and coming to my desk. She's been a lot less withdrawn lately, something which gives me a small measure of satisfaction. Hello, Hisao. Hey, gonna go pick up Lily then? It's close to the time when she need to get going if she's going to make the flight. About that, she said she might be held up by her classmates. I suppose that makes sense. Her class usually gets off a little earlier than ours, so Lily would normally have just come to our classroom. Her class must be sending her off. Well, never mind. We can wait outside her classroom for once, right? She gives a small giggle before nodding. The two of us taking our things and leaving for 3-2's classroom. When we reached our destination, I stopped in idle amusement at the scene inside. One of the shorter girls from the class has Lily wrapped in an enthusiastic hug, her head no higher than Lily's chin. Her other friends, which there are several, are gathered around her as well. Lily simply smiles kindly and hugs her back. I guess Lily must be pretty popular. Compared to Shizuna's harsh but fair dictatorship of 3-3, Lily seems more like a mother figure for 3-2. To say nothing of her height and looks. Kenji's pointed, cool demeanor as he packs up at his things. Packs up his things in at his seat in the back corner of the classroom is expected. He's not that far from the fan of the fuzz being made about Lily's leaving. Looking beside me and seeing Hanako follow my gaze, I decide to finally enter the room. Afternoon, Lily. It's just me and Hanako. Hanako withers notably when exposed to the din being made around Lily. Try as she might, I doubt she'll ever completely get over her social anxiety. Hello. Lily managed to work out our position reasonably well, classmates attaching herself without a second word. A look of slight exasperation is written on Lily's face, though I can't say I blame her. Hello, Hisao, Hanako. Do we have much time before the flight leaves? I give a quick glance at my watch, taking the trip to the airport into account, and a good 10, maybe 15 minutes left, while still allowing for contingencies. Yeah, we still have a few minutes to kill. I wouldn't worry about missing it yet. Ah, is this Hanako? I think we inadvertently become entangled in the social web. This girl is probably part of the legally blind faction of the class like Kenji, given her almost window pane like spectacles. Her short, roughly cut hair gives her a look that fits her excitable expression. Hello. Um, Shakes Hanako's hand, pulls it up and down enthusiastically. I really don't get how girls can be so social to someone they only know as a friend of a friend. While Hanako exchanges nervous greetings, I look around the room for my short and overly dressed next door neighbor. Try as I might, he seems to have slipped out of the classroom without anyone noticing. For a moment, I tried to think of possible career paths that could reasonably benefit from his single skill, before putting my mind to more pertinent matters. Lily seems pleased, if somewhat guarded, about the enthusiasm Hanako's suddenly excited from those around her. She might not see it, but Hanako's much less panicked about the affair than I'd anticipated. Shuffling my way through the gaggle of classmates, I eventually managed to reach her. Don't worry. Hanako's fine. Thank you. I thought she might be overwhelmed by them. Don't worry, we'll be gentle. Both of us grimace in unison. Hanako's nervous grin stays plastered on her face as another couple of girls move in to meet her. It's kind of amazing that even just a month ago, she'll never have been able to cope with a situation such as this. Even if, when I first met her, the two of us completely alone, she sprinted from the library. So, got everything you need? It's all packed. I just had to go by my room to pick it up on the way, and Hanako and I need to change. I guess we better get going then. Hanako? Hanako's head flickers up towards us in a flash, her face rather unmistakably appreciating the chance to extricate herself from the small group gathered around her. Coming. The long taxi ride to the airport is surprisingly pleasant, despite the three of us rather squashed together to fit in a small back seat. On one hand, maybe despite isn't the right word. Lily pays the fare to the driver as we file out. Hanako's eyes filtering left and right. Thankfully, there aren't too many people around, most of them being inside the main building rather than milling around outside. It isn't hard to spot Akira and Hideaki leaning against the fence while talking to pass the time. A large black travel bag, complete with wheels and travel handle, leans against the fence alongside them. Hideaki's the first to notice us, pointing us out to Akira, who gives an over-enthusiastic wave. Hey! I grab Lily's travel bag for her as we go to meet the two, earning a nod of appreciation. I've got all my stuff here. You got yours? Plane ticket as well? Don't worry, I have everything. You? Yep, all ready to go. Not without some problems along the way, I might add. The side remark has his head roughly dragged around by a very firmly clamped on hand. Haha, yeah. I kinda sorta forgot it was in my trousers pocket. Trousers that I'd put in the wash. Oh no. Don't worry. Did you know you can print out tickets if you order online nowadays? It's really cool. The actor's main expression says that wasn't a solution found quickly. This wasn't a solution found quickly. It could have been worse, I guess. We better start off then. Check-in should be ready by now. Yeah, you're right. There's a certain amount of wistfulness in both their voices, to say nothing of the people left behind. Meeting their family again after all these years would be big for them. Lily. Hanako wraps Lily in a gentle hug to say goodbye, one which is warmly reciprocated. Lily and I share a brief hug afterwards, each of us saying our goodbyes. Beside us, Akira and Hideaki break off from a small hug, and a word or two between them. It would probably look quite nice if not for the almost comical height difference between the two. Lily takes a hold of her sister's arm once all that needs to be said in farewells is said. the two walking past the huge glass doors. Goodbye, Hisao, Hanako. See ya. Don't don't do anything stupid, Shorty. We wave at them until they disappear from sight in the throng of people moving about inside. And then we're alone. Well, that's that. I turned to see Hideaki already beginning to walk off. See ya. He throws a hand in the air in the manner I'd expect of Akira. In the end, it's just Hanako and me left standing outside. I rest my hand on her shoulder. She absent-mindedly gazes toward the front doors of the building, as if she might catch a glimpse of either of the two before they disappear. Don't worry. The time will pass. She hesitates for a moment, but eventually nods. With the scorching heat of the summer sun beaming down on us, we make our way to the nearby bus stop. It's strange, really. Just when I've begun to see Lily differently, she leads on what almost feels like a pilgrimage to the past. In a way, though, that's just what I've been doing since coming to Yamaku. As much as I may reflect on everything that's happened to me, I really am hardly unique. Everyone has their own circumstances and separate paths to get where they are now. But I still can't really work out how I should proceed. My life may have practically been reset, and I still can't find anything that satisfactorily fills the hole I still feel in myself. Maybe Lily's leaving would be a good thing for me. Without her to lean on, I'll need to do more for myself. I'll have to be there for Hanako as well. It feels strange to have so much changing so quickly after my months in that hospital that seemed to exist so separately from reality. But that's all the more reason for me to keep focused. I can't let any opportunity slip out of my fingers in an attempt to rebuild my life. Nice act 3, here we go. I'll be right back. Let me deal with something for a bit. For some reason my eye still hurts. It's annoying. It's annoying to deal with. School days. Fucking. All right. Normally I would opt to be like, I'm opt to like, end later, but I feel so tired. I'm gonna end early today. We'll try to do this again tomorrow. And yeah, if you guys are watching, and I'll see you guys on the next stream.